Welcome to Star Expose. If you love celebrity news and real entertainment updates, you're in the right place. Sometimes the world witnesses goodbyes that feel almost too personal, too intimate to watch. And when Jenna Hager, the warm, spirited co-host beloved by millions, tearfully announced her departure, it wasn't just another television moment. It was a heartbreak shared by an entire nation. That morning began like any other. Bright lights, laughter, the familiar hum of the studio, and Jenna smiling through what seemed like another cheerful broadcast. But something was different. Her voice, normally so full of warmth and sparkle, carried a quiet tremor, a heaviness that words could barely disguise. Then came the announcement, calm, poised, but trembling ever so slightly beneath the surface. Jenna said she was stepping away, taking a break from the show that had become her second home, her creative heartbeat. The studio fell silent. Her co-host froze, mid-smile. For a few seconds, no one even breathed, because deep down, everyone knew this wasn't a scripted farewell. This was real. Behind the cameras, behind the perfectly composed segments and endless early mornings, Jenna had been carrying something heavy, the pressure of being everywhere for everyone, a television personality, a mother, a wife, a daughter, a public figure who the world expected to smile even on her hardest days. And yet, through it all, she never let that smile fade. But sometimes, even the strongest hearts need rest. As the music softened and her voice cracked ever so slightly, Jenna told the world something that struck deep. It's not goodbye forever. I just need to take a break and focus on what really matters. You could feel it, the courage in her vulnerability, the love behind her decision, and the quiet ache that comes with walking away from something that's been a part of your soul. From the very beginning, Jenna's life has been one of balance and expectation. The daughter of a former president and first lady, George and Laura Bush, she grew up surrounded by responsibility, grace, and constant attention. But Jenna was never content to simply be someone's daughter. She carved her own path. When she entered the world of television, she brought something rare, genuine warmth. A laugh that felt like sunshine, a heart that refused to hide behind a polished image. On Today with Hoda and Jenna, she became more than just a host. She became family to millions. Her laughter filled living rooms. Her tears felt personal. Her honesty reminded people that imperfection is what makes us human. And that's why her farewell hurt so much. Because when Jenna sat there on that morning, with tears glistening in her eyes, she wasn't just leaving a job. She was closing a chapter of shared mornings, shared memories, and shared hope. She took a deep breath, smiled through her tears, and said softly, "Family is everything, and it's time for me to focus on being the best mother and wife I can be." It wasn't said for sympathy. It was said with love. The kind of love that makes you brave enough to let go of something you adore. Over the years, Jenna and her husband, Henry Hager, have built a life full of laughter, little moments, and chaos that only a home with 3 children can hold. Between early call times, school drop-offs, bedtime stories, and homework, Jenna had lived what so many mothers live, the endless balancing act between work and family. And at some point, she realized that the scales had tipped. She missed the quiet mornings at home, the breakfast without a countdown clock, the unhurried laughter around the dinner table, the kind of moments no camera ever captures, but the ones that matter most. Her decision wasn't impulsive. It came after sleepless nights, long talks with Henry, and reflections on the kind of mother she wanted to be while her children were still young enough to need her every day. For Jenna, stepping back wasn't about loss. It was about rediscovery, about choosing to be present, not just visible, about remembering that behind every strong woman is a heart that sometimes just wants to slow down and breathe. As she spoke, her co-host Hoda Kotb reached across the desk, her eyes welling up with tears. You could feel the love between them, now just professional friendship, but the kind of bond that feels like sisterhood. "Jenna," Hoda said softly, "you've been my partner in this. We've grown, laughed, and cried together. I will miss you more than words can say." Jenna smiled through the tears, whispering, "This isn't goodbye. It's just, see you later." The two women embraced, and for a moment, every viewer at home felt it. That rare, beautiful silence that comes when emotion speaks louder than words. In the days that followed, social media overflowed with love. Fans wrote letters, shared memories, and posted messages filled with gratitude. One fan wrote, "You've brightened our mornings for years. We'll miss you, but we understand family comes first." And that's the truth Jenna wanted to leave behind. A reminder that stepping back isn't the same as stepping away. That even when the cameras stop rolling, her light continues to shine in the life she's touched. Jenna's influence went far beyond the morning television hours. Through her storytelling, her books, her compassion, and her willingness to show both strength and softness, she gave people permission to embrace their own imperfect, beautiful lives. In her farewell speech, she said something that lingered long after the broadcast ended. "This is not a permanent goodbye. This is a new beginning." It was more than a statement. It was a promise. Because for Jenna, this isn't the end of her story. It's the start of a quieter, more personal chapter, one filled with bedtime stories instead of studio scripts, kitchen laughter instead of cue cards, and moments of peace instead of pressure. Even though she's stepping away from the spotlight, her legacy in television remains, one of authenticity, kindness, and courage. Jenna's story reminds us all that it's okay to pause, to choose family over fame, to choose joy over obligation. It takes strength to walk away from applause in order to hear the laughter of your children. It takes faith to trade bright lights for candlelight dinners and late-night giggles. But Jenna Bush Hager has always lived by faith, in love, in kindness, and in the quiet power of doing what's right for your soul. As the curtain softly closes on this chapter, we're left not with sadness, but with gratitude. Gratitude for every story she told, every tear she shared, every laugh that filled our mornings. And maybe that's the beauty of her goodbye. It teaches us that even farewells can be full of hope, that you can step away with grace, knowing that love, both given and received, doesn't fade when the cameras turn off. So wherever Jenna's next adventure takes her, whether it's family trips, new creative projects, or simply lazy mornings filled with coffee and laughter, one thing is certain: her presence, her warmth, and her authenticity will always remain with the people who adored her. Because goodbyes aren't the end of love stories. They're simply the beginning of a new one. And as Jenna Bush Hager walks into this new chapter, hand in hand with her family, the world watches, not with tears this time, but with admiration, for her courage to choose love, for her grace to choose peace, and for reminding us all that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply come home.